as cliche as it sounds, I think social media and technology has really quite literally changed our brain chemistry. And this like scroll clickbait sort of culture that we're living in, I think has created, as much as it's created an equal parts connect and disconnect, I think. And I think it's just important for us as global citizens right now, in the wake of the election, in the wake of humanity, and where we're at, to do your research, to know, to trace things that you're reading, because I mean, we can't avoid it at this point. We all have our phones as part of our life, but to do your part online when you see someone bullying or attacking someone, there are ways to report that now. So you can scroll to the left on a comment and report someone as bullying, and I do that all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. Like, you can't say that, so I'm gonna tell them. Like, that's crazy. I just think little things, being informed is so important right now. Because I think when you are and you really take the time to read and understand what's going on, it makes you a more, compassionate, aware person. And I think that trickles into every aspect of your life when you like really understand, I think, the scope of, for me, without getting too political, what's going on right now.
We're on our phones all the time, so a lot of times we're not even lifting our heads up to look around and see those opportunities to reach out and to do a random act of kindness, or to see if someone needs help, because we're so glued and we're so kind of in our own heads about, okay, this is where we are right now, this is where I'm, trying to go if I'm on the road, and maybe I'm stopping and scrolling on my phone too, because we're so attached to our phones. So I think a lot of what goes into why we are bystanders, or why we're not spending more time looking around and seeing those opportunities and really seeking those opportunities out where we can, reach out a hand to help someone else out, is because we are so in our own worlds. And I think too, sometimes because now it's unfortunately not necessarily normal, especially for some people who, don't even know how they would go about like helping someone out, or like looking for a random act of kindness to do. Like, they don't know how to go about it. They don't have the confidence to go up to someone and say, hey, do you need to borrow my cell phone? I see that you're broken down on the side of the road, because that takes a face-to-face interaction. And for a lot of people, they might not have face-to-face interactions very often, because they are so glued to their phone or to their computer screen. And so I think that plays a part in it as well. And we actually do, around the holidays, we do something called Give Kind, and we started this a couple years ago. And it's one of our favorite things, because it's taking this idea of doing random acts of kindness and putting it on the forefront of people's minds to go out and to look for ways where they can do a random act of kindness. Then people, post about it. So there's a social media aspect to it where people post about it and they tell their story, but it's so cool to see the ripple effect that has, where I don't know if it was last year or the year before, we, kind of watched through social media, someone posted about their random act of kindness and, tagged Give Kind so we could track it. And then we saw the person who received that random act of kindness was so excited, so they were taking a picture like, look what I just found on my car, and they were inspired to pay it forward and to go do another random act of kindness. And so it really does have a pay it forward trickle effect when you do seek out those moments. And it has such a deep impact on the person that you're helping out, but it also has such a deep impact on yourself as well. I mean, I know whenever I take the time out to do something that greatly impacts someone else, it feels really good to do that.
It feels, especially right now, a lot of things feel very hopeless and overwhelming for a lot of people. And I think it's just important to remember that in times where people do feel broken and feel overwhelmed and feel like there's no hope, I truly feel that it is in those times that we can create the most change. Like, when there's only going up from a place like that, I hope. And I really think that, it's important to know that if you're passionate about a cause, like, you can find a number and call your congressman and tell them, you know, what your concerns are. You can find an organization online and make a $5 monthly donation, or find out initiatives that they have going on that you can help volunteer at. You know, so from an issue perspective, there are so many ways to get involved and to do your part. And I think right now we all have a real responsibility to do that. And I hope that, and I think that I'm seeing people really charged up right now, which is one really, I think, hopeful, beautiful thing that I've seen happen over the last couple of weeks, is people just on fire to figure out what they can do to create change. And so from an issue standpoint, I think we all need to realize that we have the ability to get involved and to do what we can, and that it's our responsibility as global citizens to do so on a more micro level. Like, you opening the door for somebody and, you know, saying that they look nice could literally change their day. Like, one of the girls in our we just did an assembly a couple days ago, came up and shared with us that she was planning on committing suicide that night. And I mean, this is, you know, these are things that we hear through our work, and how the experience at the assembly, but even more so than that, it was her friend who grabbed her hand during the assembly and just let her know she was going to be there for her no matter what. And how, like, that moment made her realize, like, there's so much more to live for. And so you just have no idea what just a little moment, how it can affect someone's life, save or change someone's life, and how that can inspire them to then go do something for someone else. And I just think right now we need to hold on to that and know that we have the power and the ability to make those choices, and that in doing so, I really think that we can change things and turn things around.